Well, yeah, certainly. I mean, it was our fault. We made a mistake. The spotter said it was clear. I wasn't clear, and, I didn't want to tear my car up, tear his car up either. I respect everybody, and I demand respect. And, I apologized to the guy when he came over the car, explained to him what happened. And then he took it to another level when he started calling me an idiot and whatever else. And I don't appreciate that. I'm not going to take it. I told him how I felt. I called him out. He didn't show. And so, I'm good with it if he's good with it, but I'm not going to be disrespected by no means.
Yeah, I guess I had a dinner date at Applebee's last night that I didn't find out until it was too late. It's a shame. Love their riblets and boneless wings, but...
Well, all right, folks, welcome back to Meet Me at Applebee's, your number one unrefined motorsports podcast. It's Brian here once again with Rob and Ashley. Folks, it's Eldora week. How we doing?
Yeah, pretty good.
Rob's not even on the plane yet, and he's already dying.
Oh my God! Well, I'm still working on that crown, and as the weeks pass and it oxidizes, it turns more into a hot syrup.
Oh God!
But it's in me, and I'm feeling good.
Is it supposed to do that? Like it's?
Don't know. I haven't drank a lot of Canadian whiskey in the past few years, but maybe it is. I don't know.
Well, I won't be drinking any of that this weekend.
Oh,
so.
I don't know about that. But
No, I am not a whiskey person.
That's how we get Brian to stay. He'll be there on Thursday.
It's for Bloomer. Yeah.
It is for Bloomer. How you doing, True Love?
I'm great. I'm just, I'm here.
Yeah.
You got Atlanta this weekend. Rob and I got Eldora this weekend. We're all doing racing stuff.
We are doing big racing stuff. First, I want to kick the show off, though, with an apology, True Love. I don't know if you said it on the show last week, but you definitely told us separately that I am busy on Sunday. I can't watch the race. Do not text me about it.
Yeah,
and you reminded us,
spoilers,
as they're lining up on Sunday, you reminded us all, please do not. And I misread the text. I had kind of forgotten about it, and then I thought Brian
had too much crown.
Exactly, yeah. And then Brian I thought Brian had texted, please don't talk about the race in this thread. To which I immediately, as soon as Blaney and Truex got into it, like 10 seconds into the race, I'm like, did you fucking see that shit? And I caught it. It's all good. I didn't spoil it, but I'm very sorry, True Love. I didn't mean to.
Well,
almost crossed the Rubicon there.
Yeah. Luckily, I don't trust anyone, so I turned my phone completely off for like 16 hours until I could finish the race, because I knew that if someone else didn't spoil it, I would accidentally open an app and spoil it for myself.
Yeah,
so
it's real hard in this the digital day and age, to not ruin shit for yourself. But yeah. Did we lose Brian? He's already got up and left the table. He's like, there's no way I'm letting Rob feed me crown this weekend. I'm fucking out.
Didn't even order appetizers yet.
Well, I'll wave the way.
I'm back.
I'm back.
I need to get a new laptop. This thing's a hunk of shit.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah. Anyways, so did you spoil the race for True Love?
No. I just texted her immediately, separately, because I was like, well, I'm not gonna bother Brian because he's not watching it, but I got it back.
What do you mean? I was fucking watching the race.
Well, I got it backwards. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, he was already drunk. He was confused.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, yeah, because I was gonna say, like, group chat was fairly quiet and nobody was really talking about nothing. Trying to find people to talk to it with, but
until I immediately tried to spoil it for True Love. But yeah, that was a fun race. We'll get into it in a second. Darlington was awesome as always. I gotta say, well, first off, I was about to say I wish that Darlington was just the cutoff race all the time.
Yeah.
Because it's such a cool event. I mean, the Southern 500 is already one of the crown jewel races, and to have it in that position is fucking sweet. But I also, on the Xfinity side of things, I didn't know they had like 3 more races until their playoffs start, which I don't understand how that math works at all.
Yeah,
I noticed that last year, like the trucks are already in their playoffs, and then NASCAR's just starting, and then Xfinity still has, like, the schedule's all wacky this time of year, so.
Yeah. Xfinity's final regular season race is Bristol.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, which is like a month from now. Fuck.
Well, I once again, as a Sheldon Creed fan, had my heart broken on Saturday watching that race. And listen, Rob, I'm gonna put this a little on you because sitting there watching the fucking race and Sheldon's running down Bell, and he finally gets him with like
It was like
20
fucking 7 laps left in the race.
No, it was a few more than that. It was like in the last 20 laps. Cracks, knock it off, and
He's a Sheldon Creed fan too, as you can tell.
he's also a Sheldon Creed fan.
He's fired up.
But Rob is like, so how's Creed gonna fuck this up? And then the caution comes, literally like 2 seconds after he
That's great.
You're fucking kidding
So
me, Rob. Like, god damn it.
Me and Rob are cackling and Brian's cussing.
Not my
It's
fucking.
wonderful.
I wasn't changing the right rear. It's not my fault.
I know, but still, just the fact that you had to fucking say that. I was keeping my mouth shut. I was like, this is finally it. It's finally gonna happen. I'm finally gonna cash in on all these bets I've been making on the last 2 fucking years. But nope.
Yeah, fool me several times. Yeah. I'll tell you what, though. I mean, Sheldon. What is that? His 8th, second place finish, 7th, 8th.
No, he finished. He's
finished
had.
third.
Oh, he got third.
finished
Yeah,
third.
so it's not quite as painful, I'm sure.
He's finished second 11 times.
That's wow.
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah.
fucking shit. That's crazy.
Putting up big numbers.
But hey, watch him pull a Daniel Hendrick, and he's good at Phoenix. He's in the playoffs. He's pretty well locked in, I guess. So
Oh, he's absolutely locked in. I mean, he's been running good all year. He just hasn't won. So
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I still have him as one of my championship favorites for Xfinity. It just seems his time will come. It's got to. It can't be that bad, right? And also, unlike some other folks like Daniel Hemrick or Corey LaJoy or whatever, he actually has won a good deal in the Truck Series. So
Yeah.
we know we
He's
can
a
get
Truck
that
Series
done.
champ.
We know we can
I
get
was
it
a
done.
little surprised to hear him say in his interview that he's not making $1 this year. I was like, oh, that sucks for you.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of deal he made to get in
Not
that
a good
car,
one.
but I mean, yeah. Well,
Well,
he's not gonna be in
I'm
next
sure he
year
was
anyway,
banking
so.
on getting some bonuses for winning, which it just has not happened yet. So. Poor guy. I can actually see Sheldon. He's out in the parking lot watching us, waiting to come in and raid whatever food we got left over in here. He's very hungry.
Second place leftovers.
Yeah, but that was a good race. Christopher Bell got the win. I'm sure a lot of people in the playoff cut line were thrilled with Christopher Bell getting a win because there was no more surprise winners. And Sam Mayer also took another one off the table for himself. He self-spun. Did you see that?
I did see that. It was pretty obvious.
Yeah, and then he he righted it immediately, and they didn't throw the yellow for it, which I thought was
Nope.
really funny. That's like some Stafford shit in the street stock. Somebody will sit down in there in the apron, and they'll wait until the 11th hour to throw that yellow, and sometimes they just won't. So that's what you
We
get.
also had Pop sabotaging Retzloff's car on lap 5.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
No, I thought it was.
the old cutoff
was-
switch.
I thought it wasn't even. I didn't even think he got to start at all. Like I think he maybe got like one lap in,
Well,
and then that was
it
it.
was early, yeah.
I'm sorry, the caution for him came out on lap 5 when he was parked on pit road and couldn't get out of the way. My
Yeah.
bad.
Which is a yellow for some reason. But
Yeah. So,
Well, it's a car
Pop
on the
was,
track technically.
yeah.
big bad.
Speaking of which, a little bit of justice for Parker Retzlaff, who, of course, if you haven't been paying attention to all the shit he's been getting for not pushing Kyle Busch to a win, which is not really his responsibility. Kyle Busch actually went to bat for him and said that he wasn't even involved in any of the team Chevrolet meetings leading into this. He's not part of the alliance, and he would have no reason to do what they were asking him to do anyway, because he wasn't even aware of the plan in the fucking first place. So
Yeah. Which probably pissed off Pop even more.
I'm sure, yeah. Which Pop is already pissed off enough. He was out in the media talking about how NASCAR racing's changed forever and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, it's just,
He just stays angry.
just take the fucking L, buddy. Jesus Christ. I mean, in Pop's defense, this does kind of open up the Pandora's box for NASCAR with the ball and strike call thing here.
I mean, it
But-
does, but it I don't know. Austin's was just so over
So
the
goddamn
line.
obvious, yeah.
Yeah.
like,
to
there's-
everyone but Pop.
Yeah.
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 But I can see NASCAR getting in a situation further on down the line where something happens not quite as bad, but now they have to make a decision based off the same criteria and whether or
Yeah.
not they... I don't know. He's not wrong, but also, like, his grandson
He's
committed
not
a
right
war
either.
crime at Richmond. So, yeah, it's a weird hill to die on. But
Yep. But anyways, let's move on to Sunday, and just I don't even know what I don't know where to start. I mean, obviously the beginning of the race is where we start because it started off with a bang with Martin Truex taking himself out. Like, speaking of people taking themselves out, like he just wanted to go fishing.
yeah, he's thinking about being on the bass boat and just immediately washed himself up into. Well, who was up there first? He washed up and almost took out somebody, but then
it was Byron.
at first,
Byron, yeah.
But he was like, "No, I don't want to be stuck on a boat with Byron. I'd rather be stuck on a boat with Blaney." Who can blame him?
Yeah, William probably already has plans on the fucking Liberty University lot anyway, or the yacht.
Legoland.
Yeah, we're going to Legoland, so yeah, that's not going to be any fun. So he took out Blaney instead. So
Yeah.
at least Blaney's going to bring the Tyler Childers CD to hang out on the pontoon boat.
Bush Light.
Yeah, it'll be a good time.
From there, it pretty much became the Larson show for a good half the race, I would think.
Good stuff.
But and this is something that True Love missed out on because she was not watching live. What really made the race interesting to me, and I know to a lot of other people, was Tyler Reddick and his illness, whatever the hell flu he had going on. Like, they started talking about it on TV, and I was like, all right, I got to switch over to his radio. And then he's like, within 2 minutes of turning it on, he utters the puke and shit myself line, all of it. Like, that's the first thing I heard, and I was like, okay, I'm not turning this radio off the entire race. And
Poor guy.
it was just like between green flag runs, anytime there was a caution, that's when you'd get on the radio and talk about stuff. And they bring him in the one pit stop, and they give him all these pills, and he drops half the fucking pills. I'm just like,
Trying to
what the
pass
fuck?
him loose pills with his
he was asking for like
his gloves.
saltines and like just white bread, like some kind of fucking like duck.
Yeah. Well, then after the fact,
Bless his heart.
he talked about it after the fact. He's like, no, I never actually did either of those things, because he did all the interviews and stuff after the race. Like, it's not like it wasn't a Tony Stewart
Well,
deal
that's
where
what
he just
somebody
like,
who's
ran
lying about
away.
shitting themselves is gonna do. You can't just go off and take a shower
The
and
thing
come
is,
back
you're
with
gonna
new
you're gonna
haircut.
know. You're gonna know.
Stink up the
Yeah.
regular season victory lane.
Yeah.
He'd have puke all over himself and all the other stuff. So like, he said after the race that like they gave him some pills before the race even started that basically plugged him up, and he was like, I kind of wish I could have done that because it would have been relief, but he couldn't. So
The old tungsten butt plug.
yes. So that really
Yeah, that was
That
a really,
really,
fun added element to
Yeah.
the race.
Bodily
And it's-
failure.
Will he or won't he? Yeah.
and it's definitely it was funny because I was talking with Mike from First 7-Inch Club and a few other people that aren't as
Into piss
deep
and
of race
shit.
fans. Well, not to that either, but they aren't as knowledgeable race fans as we are, and like they could not believe that they were talking and playing Tyler's radio on TV. Like they're just like, how do you guys do it? I'm like, oh, this is what happens in NASCAR. Like I don't know what to tell you.
Just reporting the facts.
Yeah.
Got
I
Michael
will say
Jordan out
that
there. And,
after we watched the race, me and my boyfriend went back and watched the race, the full thing on Monday. And then for dinner that night, we went and got some Mexican food, and I must have had some bad shrimps or something. But
no.
I
Oh,
was
boy.
so
You were
insanely nauseous.
riding along with Tyler.
I was so nauseous, and I was like, man, as terrible as I feel right now, I can't imagine feeling this way for 4 hours
In the
a
heat,
car
too.
that's 130 degrees
Yeah.
going, that fast. I was like, oh, God.
And having to run an inch off the wall. If I were Tyler Reddick, I'd be bottom feeding just for the sake of my guts, because one wrong hit will knock the butt plug out and it's game over. But but he toughed it out. Congratulations
He
to
did.
Tyler
He's a
for
tough
getting
he's a tough little guy.
that little guy. And he got that championship, the regular season championship, by 1 point, a single
point.
fucking point. So congrats to him.
Crazy.
Yeah, I don't think anyone on this show is upset about that. I really like Tyler Reddick a lot, and I like to see him do well.
Michael Jordan there too, who was, you could tell was also like super anxious, like couldn't even look at the racetrack at one point. He was so nervous.
Yeah, definitely cool to see him on the broadcast and get interviewed. Yeah, it's crazy how he's still the biggest fucking athlete in the world.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's actually pretty much a competitor, by being a car owner is wild. He doesn't own a basketball team anymore, but he owns a fucking NASCAR team and he's invested. So that's super cool to see. Yeah.
My favorite part about Michael this weekend, I'm sure y'all saw it, but the video of him clowning on Denny.
Yeah. You got one of these, right?
I probably watched that video like 25 times and I laughed just as hard every time.
They had a giant ass trophy out for that regular season championship.
Do. Yeah. Well.
Also, speaking of trophies, I don't know if you guys caught that they spelled Joey Logano's name wrong. Lagano.
Logano.
Yeah, that's if you get your trophies made at fucking Staples, you better proofread the shit before you send the PDF over, I guess. But
before we get to the end, I mean, obviously the one of the biggest stories going into this, and Jordan being there was a big part of it, was who was going to make the playoffs. And for as much as Bubba was the story, I mean, Buescher was also the story. And I think one thing that was maybe almost kind of lost in the shuffle was, I guess, if Buescher would have finished in the top 9 in the first segment, he would have knocked Truex out, and he didn't pull that off, and that was just like very weird to me because he was running fairly well most of the day. I mean, Bubba was in the top 10 the majority of the race, and unfortunately, I think if they had actually taken tires on that last pit stop, maybe he would have not ended up where he did.
Yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't take tires. Obviously, I'm not a crew chief, but that was, I think everybody on Earth was asking themselves, why the fuck?
Well, he was right on the cusp. I mean, he was, I think, 7th or 8th going into that last caution, and nobody in front of him pitted, but almost everybody behind him did. So
maybe he had Sheldon Creed's pit crew working for him or something. He was a little nervous.
Maybe.
Yeah, there was
I'll hedge my
that
bets.
point. There was that restart. There was like 40 to go, and they had 3 boxes on the screen, and all 3 boxes had an insane battle going on in it. And I wanted to puke watching it. And they had Bubba dropping spots on his old tires in one box, and then another box they had Buescher and Reddick battling hard, and Buescher still got that chip on his shoulder from Reddick beating him at Darlington or whatever.
Yeah.
In the spring, and then the other box was Briscoe trying to pass Larson for the lead. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, which he did with authority. Doing the exact same thing at Daytona, getting 2 cars lined up, and all of a sudden there's no aero wake, and he's able to dive it in there like a sprint car, and he was gone.
Yeah, I mean, definitely one of the best passes I think we've seen all year, I want to say. And he was running good all day. The SHR cars had a pretty good spring race, and I guess I didn't necessarily see him as much of a threat as he turned out to be.
God,
I did bet on him.
Absolutely not.
When live betting was on, I saw how good he was doing. I was like, all right, I got to throw a buck on him, and that paid off pretty well. But I was very happy to see that. I mean, at that last battle with him and Kyle Busch, I would have been happy to see either one of them win, but I definitely was pulling for Chase. I guess I want
to see Kyle win this year. I just didn't want Pop to get that couple extra million to make it to the playoffs. So
I guess that's fair.
Yeah. Kyle can win any other race he wants this year. I'll be happy for him.
God bless him. Yeah, but not this one. Yeah. But yeah, Chase Briscoe, I'm a fan of his too. Like I think I've said this on the show when I went to the Chili Bowl. He was out there in January selling his own T-shirts. That's the kind of guy Chase Briscoe is. He's a big time family guy. He's a nice guy. He's good to his fans, and he's not afraid to do a lot of the shit that some other drivers might not. I'm a big Kyle Larson fan, and maybe he did, but I didn't see Kyle selling his own T-shirts out there in the garage area at the Expo Center. But
He's just too short for you to see him.
yeah, he's just under the table, exactly. And Chase is a normal-sized man, yeah. So maybe that's what it was. But Chase is out there selling his wares, and he doesn't have to do that shit. And that really left an impression on me. And again, he's a dirt guy, so of course I'm fucking stoked about it. And
Yeah, when he was on the radio afterwards and like crying hysterically, saying, "I just won the frickin' Southern 500," that got me.
Yeah, seriously. And again, shout out to NBC for another fantastic broadcast. Lee Diffie's the best in the biz. There's no question about it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great race. I mean, definitely had all the things that make a good race. Storylines off the track, storylines with guys being sick in their cars,
shitting themselves,
just
lying about it on TV.
and we also speaking of other stories, someone who was very proud of himself was Corey LaJoie finishing ninth.
He
Corey,
did it.
Who broke his own arm patting himself on the back.
Yeah, literally. There's that meme of the one athlete who finishes like fifth or whatever,
Third,
way down.
Third in the meme, but he made it out. He tweeted the meme himself of how excited he was to finish ninth, and then he came out with the quote about I'm just gonna collect these checks and just keep answering the phone with people wanting to drive their car. Like, motherfucker, that Harrison Burton actually won last week, and I guarantee he's not gonna get in a better
No one
ride
is
than this
calling
one.
Harrison.
Like, okay, you got your first top 10 on a non-drafting track in 229 starts. It took you 9 years to get a top 10 on a non-drafting track. Like, calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was complaining about all the people chirping at him lately. It's like, well, you deserve it. Chirp,
Yeah,
chirp,
you
bitch.
absolutely deserve it.
Chirp, bitch.
Speaking of Corey, True Love, did you get any mail over the last few days?
I did.
Yay!
Thank you so much for sending me your waste.
That's
Straight in
great.
the trash.
I was-
But the shirt's
I was
great.
waiting.
I love the shirt.
I was waiting for a thanks or at least you being angry at me or something for sending that. So
Just straight in the garbage.
Nice.
I figured you'd at least give it to somebody you hate. Not saying I hate you, that's why I sent it to you. But like,
mail it right back to him.
Yeah, no, I don't want anyone else to have to use it.
Wow.
So-
Jonathan Davenport, by the way, just laid an ass whooping on everybody at Eldora.
Well, imagine that.
Ass whooping. Yeah, he's my pick for the 100, but we'll get to that a little later in the show. It's just happening live in front of me. Also, earlier we got to see Matthew Dillner eat a pizza burger. That was pretty cool.
Yep. While we were waiting for Brian.
Yeah, more on Eldora later. So
Yeah. One more tidbit about LaJoie. He also gave us that great picture of him this week bartending at Chili's.
training.
which-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Training for that next ride. I mean, I guess you could DoorDash Chili's, right?
oh yeah, you can.
Yeah.
They don't have their own delivery drivers, but I'm sure he could make that work, you know.
God, I wonder if they're actually behind him and he would take that sponsorship money somewhere else. Not in Cup, but like trucks or something. I don't know.
Chili's? I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't fuck with Chili's in this squad.
Maybe
Even though the bottomless chips and salsa are pretty good, and it actually is a superior restaurant in every way, but we don't fuck with Chili's. This is an Applebee's family, god damn it.
I guess moving on to other notes, we already talked about Pop being pissed off.
Yeah.
In silly season news, Brandon Jones continues to jump around to rides, and he's going back to JGR for some reason. Don't know why. I'm assuming the sponsorship money has something to do with
Hey,
it. But,
big money at Menards.
what the bummer thing means that we're not going to see the Menards commercials with him and Dale Jr., where Dale Jr. gets very awkward about Brandon wearing his driver's suit everywhere. That's one of my favorite racing commercials of the last 5 years.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I think it's so funny and weird. But I guess we won't be seeing that much longer.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Spire and Corey LaJoie losing his ride, another potential. There's a lot of chatter about this as well. There's a rumor going around based off of a very kind of innocuous, low key comment on Door Bumper Clear. I went and listened to it, and it wasn't really what people are making it out to be, I don't think. But the big rumor is that Alex Bowman is going to be out of the 48 at the end of the year. Whether the reasons are, there's multiple reasons that people are throwing out there. One's performance-based. The other is that Spire just wants him. That he would actually be going over to Spire to take over the 7 next year and team up with Roddy Childers. That's the big rumor right now. I don't really see that happening, to be honest with you, but crazier things have happened. So
Alex very much denied that today. He's like, nah, I'm absolutely going to be in Hendrick next year. Like,
absolutely did not shit myself in the car. Did not do it.
Yeah. So
yeah, he had to spend his whole playoff media day convincing everyone that he still has a job next year.
Yeah, he is
calling all of his bosses frantically.
Yeah. I think he signed through 2026. Is that what it was?
Yeah, he is.
So he's going to be there a while. But again, contracts don't really mean a whole lot if money's getting thrown around. I don't think Hendrick would drop him. I feel like it'd be more of a situation where Spire would open the wallet again and be like, we want this guy. We'll buy him out.
that makes more sense. Yeah.
And there is a Chevy Alliance there, too. So
yeah.
I could see it happening, but I really don't think that's going to be the case. But who knows?
I think it's just Corey LaJoy putting out rumors to try to snake his way back into Papa H's sights.
You think he's
Write him
drafted
another letter?
a second letter? Yeah. A second letter has hit the Hendrick campus.
That's great.
Yeah, a little 9/11 humor for you there, folks. It's coming up. Never forget.
It's coming up quick.
It's coming up quick.
It's your American flag's in order.
But yeah, I don't think, whereas Corey LaJoy has lost his right, I don't think Alex is going anywhere. But again, nothing is shocking anymore. So
Yeah. I guess there was another rumor that Kyle Busch is going to. Someone spotted him at 2311 or something.
Interesting.
Yeah, I
Maybe
did
he's
not
just
hear
visiting
that.
his brother.
Yeah. In Michael Jordan's private jail. Yeah, I would be curious to see how that would play out. I kind of do want to see the RCR arc as much as I dislike that team. I would like to see Kyle kind of bring him back a little bit, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, he has turned around the last few weeks, so I don't know. Maybe Andy Petrie leaving has actually caused something to change in that organization. So, we'll see what happens. But he seems a little less annoyed than he has been most of the season.
Maybe it's because he knows he's going to Toyota next year.
Well, that's what's funny. I mean, you mentioned all the money and people buying out contracts and stuff. I mean, he did have a good relationship with Toyota, so maybe they want him back. Like, who knows?
It's true. Could be. I guess we'll find out. But
Maybe that's why Pop-Up's extra cranky lately.
yeah. We're going to have to bring Ty back up. God damn it. Anybody else signing Cup? Was there something else? I feel like we missed something. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. They're not going to win.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Well, we didn't talk about Mexico, and we didn't talk about the schedule because the schedule only just got released. Between the last recording and this one, but Mexico City was announced last week, and we totally forgot to talk about that. Which, speaking of Kyle Busch, right with that announcement being dropped, NASCAR, Ben Kenny was like, "Don't worry, Kyle Busch will be there. He's okay." Like,
I'm sure he can get into the country, no problem. I'm sure they'll allow that to happen.
Yeah, what's the race after Mexico City? That's what we need to be worried about.
I think it's, it might be Michigan. I'm not sure, but I mean the schedule that got released was pretty much identical to the rumored one that was released popped up a few months ago.
The only difference was that Mexico and Michigan were flopped. So if you saw that tweet from NASCAR ladies of Mexico City or whatever the fuck it was, that was pretty much the schedule as is, just with those dates flopped. But
I did notice that for Cup, since they're moving the second Atlanta race back to the dead heat of summer, they're going to make it a Saturday night race. So,
thank God for you.
I think the first year they tried to do it a Sunday night, which I thought was weird, but this year it's a straight up Saturday night. So that'll be fun.
That's good. That's good for you.
Yeah.
I know how much you love sitting out in the grandstands at noon on a Sunday.
And my jeans and my boots and my all my layers.
It's at 3 this weekend. Ugh.
Yep, sure is.
Yeah, so you're going to Atlanta, right, True Love?
I'll be there. Me and my brother are gonna go.
Very nice.
Just Sunday though.
Nice. Well, that's really the only reason to go. You're gonna go watch fucking one lap of qualifying on Saturday. Fuck that.
Well, it's only going to be 80 on Sunday, so that's actually not too bad for you.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, 6,000% humidity.
asphalt parking lot. Yeah.
Yeah. You'll be fine. You'll have a good time. Get some Crocs.
Yeah.
We've been saying it for years.
Yeah,
Or some Hey Dudes. Get your Chase Elliott Hey Dudes. They're only $70 now. I'm pretty sure that my buddy Ken Bob actually picked up a pair, and maybe we'll see those at Eldora.
Did you say Ken Bob? Is that what you just said?
Yeah,
Ken
Kenny.
Bob?
Yeah, you'll meet him.
He's talked about him on the show before.
Yeah, I ended up at a few different dirt races with him. He's a great guy. And if you end up making it to Eldora on Saturday, which sounds like you are, you'll meet Kenny. He's a good guy.
Yeah, Rob, it's confirmed. I'm going. I'll be there. So,
Nice.
yeah. And then the other thing we didn't talk about, well, it also just got released. There's going to be 3 new NASCAR TV shows. That
3
are
more
gonna
things
be,
to not watch, but complain
won't
about
be
them not
watching.
being there.
I won't be watching these. They're going to be on True TV and Max. So a couple places to watch them. There's Inside the Playoffs, which is going to have Shannon Spakes, Steve Flatart, Mamba Smith, and Jordan Bianchi, which is probably the show I will absolutely not watch because I don't like any of those people.
Yeah. If you like Dave Moody, but 4 of them, there you go. The sucking NASCAR off hour. Shannon Spakes on like all of these shows, I'm pretty sure.
And so is
Yeah, well,
Mamba.
she's fine. Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, a guy
and
who was
that-
literally what's his job title? The NASCAR hype man.
I think so. I
Yes.
think that's what he's going with.
So you'll get plenty of unbiased opinions from him. Completely.
The inside. I'm looking at this now. The Inside the Playoffs is the only show that's actually going to be on TV. There's NASCAR Daily, which is going to be a YouTube show, and then Drop the Jack, which is another. It looks like it's going to be Pit
YouTube.
Crew. Oh, Paul Swan's
all-
going to be on it. Oh, great!
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, that's the thing. I saw that and I was like, oh, cool, Pit Crew show. That'd be nice. And then I saw that Swan was on there and I was like, well, yes,
Yeah.
I'm not watching that either. So
Yep.
Yeah, it's all Jackman. Hence the name.
hell yeah.
And
Maybe I'll watch it.
then
I
I
don't know.
guess the final bit of news, hot off there, was what did he finish 4th at Daytona? Rick Ware, Cody Ware's dad, their team won an NHRA race with Clay Millican in
Yeah,
Indy.
they won the USA Super Nationals, so good for them. That's Rick Ware actually does a pretty good job everywhere outside of NASCAR, but they've shown massive. Well, there are 2 things. One, it kind of shows just how tough NASCAR competition is, and 2, they actually have shown a good amount of improvement, especially with Justin Haley being over there on the Cup side. But congrats to those guys. That's a big fucking win for them.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Going back to the
go ahead.
schedule real quick, we didn't even touch on Trucks and Xfinity that
Oh yeah, Rockingham is back officially.
Yeah.
Yes.
for
Which
Easter.
I might be for that. We'll see. It's
Yeah.
Rockingham's like I think 6 hours for me, and my parents are interested in coming up because it's like an hour or so from their house. So
Yeah,
might go to that.
Another dead racetrack back from the grave, and this has been said 1,000 times on the internet, and I'm going to echo that sentiment here, and I think we can all agree with it. If you want these places to come back, you better fucking show up to them.
Yep.
Go to these races, because the last time they brought Rockingham back, no one came. So this is not going to stay on the schedule if you don't show up, so fucking show up, please.
Yep. Trucks are also going to the Roval, which is new, and
yeah.
Lime Rock.
That is going to be very cool. I might actually try it. I have my fingers crossed that it would be Stafford, which, I mean, they're at war
Yeah,
with
that'd be
NASCAR,
great.
so I figured that wouldn't happen. But they do have safer barriers, so they are up to the standard of a NASCAR race. But I don't know if their pit road's big enough. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Lime Rock is fucking sweet. I mean, the Busch North Series used to go there. The Modified Tour used to go there as well. So it's not the first time NASCAR has been out there, but certainly the first time with anything trucks and up. And that's going to be a hell of a show. That place races like a short track. I've never actually had a chance to go. So this will be a nice little first opportunity, I think. But yeah, I'm really
Check it
excited about
off.
Lime Rock. Yeah.
One other thing I wanted to add is on Labor Day, me and my boyfriend went to Stone Mountain Park in Georgia. I don't know if y'all have heard of that.
Yeah.
Probably not. But it's just a giant stone mountain. But in the side of it, in the 70s, they carved a giant, tribute to Confederate soldiers. Just real stupid, but they did a laser show on the side of the mountain on Labor Day, and on top of the dead Confederate soldiers. And,
it's a huge carving, so I can't really get around it.
Yeah, but so they did the laser show, and it's like a cute little like 70s 80s looking cartoonish looking deal, but they've updated it over the years too, adding new stuff. So they did like Georgia sports, so there was like a little NASCAR Atlanta Motor Speedway segment, and then they did like, you know, Georgia music and all these other little random things, and then they get to like powerful women. And I'm thinking in my mind when this starts, I'm like, oh, okay, powerful women. So it's going to be like, you know, famous women from Georgia. And the first one up is Dora the Explorer. And I was like, okay.
I didn't know she's from Georgia.
Neither. And then the next one up is like Hermione Granger. I was like, oh, fucking Christ. And then third up is Danica Patrick. I was like, all right.
Hell yeah. Also not from Georgia.
No. So that was my Labor Day. I was seeing Danica Patrick on the side of a Confederate mountain. Dora the Explorer.
Oh, what was the NASCAR deal? Was it like David Reagan up there? Laser
no,
Reagan?
It was just like super general, like little cartoon drivers. It wasn't anyone specific, unfortunately.
Was Seven Dust a part of the show?
I wish. It was like Zach Brown Band and Jason Aldean and
not Seven Dust.
All the worst.
Well, that's too bad.
Yeah.
A real missed opportunity to leave the Reagans and Seven Dust out of it. So.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well, that's fucking hilarious.
So yeah. Anyway, on to the DARF.
Sounds like it's you for going to the laser show, but
yeah. Well, it was free. It was something to do.
So there's a couple Darvs of the week. I think the big one is going to have to go to One Round of Wedge on Twitter. Of course, Mexico City back on the schedule, and I think people are starting to realize just how popular IndyCar driver Pato O'Ward is. Of course, he's a Mexican, big IndyCar star right now. One of my personal favorites, drives for McLaren, almost won the 500 this year. A huge deal in Mexico. And there's a lot of chatter about NASCAR trying to bring him over for that race, despite the fact that Gateway is happening the same weekend. And it sounds like McLaren is willing to lend him for an Xfinity race on Saturday. They don't want him to miss the actual IndyCar race on Sunday, but they'd let somebody else qualify the car or whatever. So it sounds like those wheels are in motion. I would not be surprised to see them make a deal with Toyota or 2311 or something like that.
Yeah.
Or, I'm sorry, it's Xfinity, so it'll probably be Colleague or somebody like that. But it sounds like Pato O'Ward will be there. Jeff Gluck tweeted about it, saying Pato O'Ward gets his career high third win of the season, so of his career, blah, blah, blah. He's just talking about the IndyCar race. And then this guy, One Round of Wedge, says, any surprise here? NASCAR Mexico IndyCar. After bitching all week, IndyCar gives the Mexican driver tires and he wins. Same with Bubba to make playoffs. I don't.
What?
I don't. I tried to dissect the word salad to figure out what the fuck this guy was talking about, because Bubba Wallace did not take tires at all. In fact, it was quite the opposite.
Didn't make the playoffs either.
He didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, this was tweeted before. It was tweeted on Saturday, so I mean. Yeah, again, I don't know what the hell he was. I think just because he got the pole, maybe everybody thought that was NASCAR giving him the pole, which it's not how that works. But
no, yeah, they wouldn't give Carson Hocevar second, that's for sure. So.
Yeah.
I don't know what nationality he is originally, Polish. Who the fuck knows? But I'm sure there's no Polish immigration committee out there, bribing NASCAR to get him a good starting spot. Just like there's not one for Bubba. So this guy's real fucking dumb. His punishment is to have the last shot out of this bottle of Crown Royal and shit himself like Tyler Reddick says he didn't. There is a second DARF of the week here. This one's ridiculous too. It's actually the same guy.
I was gonna say, it's the same fucking guy.
This is literally from two separate, different tweets. So this is just serendipity right here. We're about to climb into the short track septic tank, and this is a good segue. They were talking about NASCAR and I don't even remember what the original tweet was about. Something about, probably has something to do with the Larson hype right now and everyone talking about him being the best driver or whatever the fuck. I don't know. Anyway, he chimes in saying, you should mention that 2 of Christopher Bell's wins came when Larson was leading. One was when Larson was leading and Larson's motor blew up. And another time when Larson was leading and Bell spun Larson. So I'm guessing this is in reference to the Xfinity race. And then a guy named Hillier _ replies with, he goes to the Chili Bowl before Kyle Larson. What an incredible driver. And again, I don't know what this guy's talking about because Kyle Larson has been to the Chili Bowl many times and won it twice. So I'm going to invite this second guy to split that shot of crown with one round of wedge here. But yeah, that's real dumb stuff right there. Kyle Larson is actually known for winning the Chili Bowl and in fact called it more important Daytona. So I think, do a little research before you spout off on the internet, folks. But we wouldn't have Darbs of the Week if it wasn't for people being completely, I almost used the bad word there. Idiots.
Right as you said that, my boyfriend's cat is in my lap, but she just clawed the shit out of my leg. She's trying to eat my headphone wires. Okay, that's enough from you.
That's what they do.
That's what they do.
Cats love chewables, you know. Mm-hmm. Which is what they should have given Tyler Reddick in the car. Yeah.
Clawed by this cat.
Again, you weren't listening to his radio. They gave him instructions like chew the pink ones, swallow the other ones. Like they were giving him all the instructions on what to take. But
it's like trying to open a beer with a pair of gloves on. It's just impossible. But we're in the septic tank now. But sorry, Brian, go ahead.
Before we dive too deep into the septic tank, because I know you got a bunch of races to talk about here, I actually watched most of the Cars Tour race on Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Man, that series just doesn't do it for me. I just was like, I am just not an asphalt short track guy. Like, any discipline, if I'm watching a short track race, I'd much rather it be dirt. Doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
It just doesn't do it for me. I don't know. Like, Junior was in it. I'm sure it was
fun. And the Cars races are generally pretty good, too. There's a lot of action front to back. Brent Cruz picking up a big win this weekend, by the way. But, yeah, I feel you. I always try to get into late model racing and shit like that, and I just I care about the Snowball Derby. I'll watch that. All the shit at Five Flags during Speed Weeks I'm into. I always pretend like I'm going to watch anything at Nashville, and I just don't. So... But yeah, that's why I don't really have a Racing America subscription, because it's all that shit. But whatever, it doesn't matter. But we're in the septic tank now, folks, and we just threw a big middle finger up to half the racers in the country. But sorry.
Hey, it's me. It's my opinion.
It's just Brian.
It's just Brian. Anyway, back to the Chili Bowl and tying the whole NASCAR room together and international folks and whatever the fuck. Shane Van Gisbergen is apparently running the Chili Bowl in 2025. Trackhouse will be entering a car, which is cool. It's them expanding their empire into the dirt world, at least for one race. Shane's got a decent amount of dirt experience underneath him, racing down in Australia, and I think out of anyone who goes down there and give it a shot, I think he might do pretty well. So I'm definitely excited to see that. That's definitely going to raise the profile of the event a little bit, I think. It's already huge, but, outside of the dirt world.
Shane was also hanging out at the Cars Tour race.
That's true.
This weekend.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Shane is one of those guys like Larson or Bell or Tyler Reddick kind of used to be, where they'll just kind of hop in anything that's in front of them and give it a shot. And, Shane's a little older now, so... and he's kind of earned his ability to do that. So I'm very happy to see him trying on a bunch of different hats or helmets, I suppose. And him at the Chili Bowl is going to be fucking fun. I can't wait. All fucking 9 foot of him cramming into a Keith Coons midget or whatever. So. Elsewhere in the dirt world, of course, High Limit was up at Skagit. Rico Abreu won $100,000. Winning that one. That's a huge event up there. Definitely becoming one of the big majors here in the United States. Not quite up there with Knoxville or Kings Royal or anything like that, but definitely one of the biggest races out on the West Coast, alongside the Gold Cup, and just big time stuff out of Rico. He can definitely buy a lot of whatever he's into. Definitely one of the coolest victory lane photos I've ever seen, though, of him up on the top wing with all those fireworks going off behind him. Over in the dirt world, XR held a big event at 300 Raceway over the weekend. Of course, XR is another streaming service that kind of has a couple of its own series. Usually they focus on late models, but they also have some street stock races and shit like that. Ricky Thornton Jr. went back to his roots and climbed in a stock car and won $100,000 there. A lot of people pissed about that, but again, that is him going back home, and I don't think anybody racing really had a problem with it because he really had to work his ass off to get that win. But amazingly, that's the most money he's ever won at a race. $100,000 at a street stock race, so go figure. Over on the late model side of that same event, which is the Yankee Dirt Track Classic, Ryan Gustin picked up another win. He's really turning the wick up before Eldora. He's definitely one of my favorites going into the world this weekend. I think Jonathan Davenport is going to continue his pattern of legacy making here, and I think he's my favorite to win, but I'd watch out for Ryan Gustin this weekend. They've really been bringing it to Bobby Pierce in the World of Outlaws and winning a bunch of races, so good for Ryan. Lucas Oil Series rained out pretty much everywhere over the weekend. Of course, the Hillbilly 100 was supposed to happen in Tyler County. That did not happen, so pretty much the entire series tucked their tails, hopped into trailers, and hauled to Eldora for the Baltus Classic on Sunday night, much to the chagrin of a lot of the people that showed up there hoping to win $5,000. But when Jonathan Davenport rolls in, it's just not going to happen. Congrats to Garrett Alberson, though, fellow New Mexican. He picked up a big win there. He's also been pretty fast lately. Not something we've seen a ton of. He's always been kind of thereabouts, top five-ish, but now he's really starting to click off wins. And going into Eldora, that's a big deal because obviously the World 100 is a crown jewel. Over in the World of Outlaws Sprint Cars, Buddy Kofoid got Carson Macedo for $100,000 at Huset's, the High Bank Nationals. Over to the pavement side, Brian, you can go take a piss right now. We're going to talk about asphalt racing for a little bit. The Friday night Smart Tour show got rained out, so they moved it to Saturday morning. So they actually ran two Smart Tour races at two different racetracks on the same day. Ryan Newman picked up the first one. Danny Bone got a win as well. Very cool weekend, and the Smart Tour is always fun. Definitely second tier, in my opinion, just because the Southern guys just, I don't know, aren't really as good. I don't know. That's a whole conversation you could have about that. But Smart Tour is awesome, and it's more modified racing to watch, and I'm all about that. Over on the NASCAR modified side, Patrick Emmerling won at Oswego, and then Tyler Thompson picked up a big win in the super modifieds at the Oswego Classic. And there's a lot more that happened.
I saw that clip that you were talking about with the styrofoam at Oswego.
Yes.
Holy shit. What a mess. What are they doing
it makes
there?
a huge mess. We talked about this.
Stacey right now and ask her.
She didn't really give any reasons. Well, they were one of the first people to actually put in a soft wall, and that's just what they settled on.
It's too soft.
Because the walls are literally steel. So,
yeah.
Well. I asked Brian if they made Stacey go out there and adjust the styrofoam, and apparently she does not have to. So
good.
That's good. She's worked there too long to go out there and
she's
sweep up.
doing too much.
But yeah, big weekend in Oswego, the International Classic. That's always fun. That was all on Flow Racing. There's a lot of big-time racing coming up this weekend. I couldn't tell you what it is, though, because the World 100 is going to dominate everything for me. Of course, I'm going to be out there. I already said Jonathan Davenport's my pick to win, but there's over 100 cars on the entry list, and there's pretty much anybody in dirt late model racing is already on site. Of course, Jonathan Davenport just won the Flow Racing Night in America show and completely laid an ass whooping on him. I would expect that we'll see more of that this weekend. My heart and soul's with Nick Hoffman. I want to see him win. Good dude, good family, fast car.
Beetlejuice wheels he's running
exactly. A hell of a Scott Bloomquist tribute paint scheme or a wrap right on down to the Nightmare Before Christmas wheel covers. It looks so fucking good. But yeah, I'll be there from Thursday to Saturday. Of course, Brian will be coming down for the big show on Saturday. Come say what's up to us. It's going to be a great time. I mean, Eldora is a special place, and I've said this on the show before. There's not many racetracks that have an aura and a presence. I sound like Scott Bloomquist, for fuck's sake. Not many places have an aura and a feel like Eldora does. And really, it doesn't matter how shitty the race is. And let's be honest, lately, the longer features at Eldora have kind of been processional. The track slicks off and everyone kind of gets in their own lane and just runs a train race. But it doesn't matter, honestly. Just being in that facility is special, and you can definitely feel the ghosts and the spirit of the years past. And of course, this year being the first one without Scott Bloomquist. His memorial service is on Saturday, by the way, at noon. So if you are going to the race, make sure you get there early. You do not need a ticket to go to that. And that is that is a must-attend event, and I'll definitely be there in my brightest tie-dye to send old Bloomer off. But yeah, it's going to be awesome. Shout out to Kyle Armstrong. I'm going to be staying with him over the weekend. Tons of friends are going to be there. Just going to be an awesome time. And if you happen to be at Eldora, please come say what's up. I'll be there for 3 days, so I got nothing else to do but drink cold beers and eat cheese balls and watch the best race car drivers in the country go at it. And then Brian will be there too. You get to meet him. And also, real quick before we move on,
excited to hear about.
This will be the first time, believe it or not, that I have ever actually met Brian in person.
Yeah,
it's never happened. We've been friends for fucking years. Yeah, I feel like I've talked to you on video chats. Like we talk every day. You know, not just because of the show. You know, we talk racing all the time. We're friends, but we've never actually been on the same piece of real estate together. And out of anything, I'm so excited for that. So now you can't back out,
sure.
bud.
Yeah, of course. Well, it's the blessing and the curse of having internet friends. Is sometimes you don't meet them for years. And,
it's true.
It's usually a good time when you do. So I'm looking forward to it.
And honestly, I've thought about it a little bit, but saying it out loud on the show right now, it's the first time it's really sunk in. I was like, holy fuck, I actually haven't hung out with you before. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be a good time.
It'll either be a great time or it'll be the end of the podcast.
Show's over.
Fuck, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, we just don't like each other. Fuck. But either way, come say what's up to both of us and witness the birth of an even tighter friendship or the end of one. So. It's going to be a hell of a time. And like I said, there's tons of other short track racing happening this weekend. But if you have a Flow account or not, this is a good weekend to get it. This is the biggest show of the year, without question.
Y'all make sure you take some real wholesome pictures together.
Oh, we will. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And like I said, noon on Saturday, the Scott Bloomquist Memorial Service. I think that's going to be, like I said, that's a must-attend event if you're going to be there.
Yep. Cool. So I guess that speaking of Eldora and Bloomquist and all this stuff,
I gotta flush the tank. Are we flushing the tank before the video of the week, or are we gonna let it?
You always gotta flush the tank.
You gotta, don't let it.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just saying we'll flush it twice. We'll get one out now.
There you
in
go.
honor of Tyler Reddick.
So
Flushed.
are you gonna flush again? Or are you gonna
No,
wait till after?
we're gonna wait till after the segment is over.
Okay. So I dug up a handful of old Eldora videos from late 80s, early 90s, and they're all kind of Bloomquist related. Now, really, the couple short ones, there's not really a whole lot to say. There's a video from 1991 that's basically just Scott wheeling his car onto the track, and the only real things to note here is whoever is filming this says he's got a brand new Warrior chassis, looks like he's going to be tough tonight. I don't know if he won the 91 race, I'm not totally sure, but we also get to see him wheeling around on an ATV, wearing all white, which is certainly a look at a dirt track.
Yeah.
It was the highlight of that for me was his white jeans.
And 91, this is his hair is at full length at this point. Like the earlier videos that we also watched, like it's still kind of, it's long-ish, but it's not like full flowing like it is in 91. Like he looks like Peter Steele in that video. So
yes, he does. They
start to interview him, and then the video cuts off. So that was pretty much the end of it. The other short video I picked, there was a 1989 interview from right before the race started, and Bloomer's in the press box, it looks like, and he's wearing his own t-shirt, but he's got the collar's cut and the sleeves are cut off. So that's a great look. And he's fresh 25-year-old babyface Bloomquist, and he's like kind of looking at the camera, like peering at the camera once in a while, and then also like staring down this guy that he's talking to. And the announcer asks, because he won the, spoiler alert, he wins the race we watched, but it's the announcer asks him, was it luck or are you just that good? And Scott kind of just slyly looks at him and gives like a non-answer, because like that's just one of those things that I don't think Bloomer was as
he wasn't quite Scott Bloomquist.
He wasn't quite as confident and cocksure as he was later on. But he very clearly knew he had a good car. He brought the exact same car back. He's like exact same setup to the pound. And I don't think he did. I don't think he won 89, did he?
No, Donnie Moran won in 89.
Okay, yeah.
He won in 90, I think. Let me take a look here. Let me pull it up.
Yeah, I mean, I know he won a bunch of them, but I didn't look up the exact ones he won.
Yeah, he won again in 90, and then later on in the 2000s, he won a couple times.
Yeah. But the actual feature race, so I didn't even realize this until I was watching the video, that not only was this Bloomquist's first World 100 win, it was his first race at Eldora.
Yeah.
To begin with.
There's a great story about that. He's told it in a few different interviews, but he talks about it on Dale Jr.'s podcast that he did last year. And he walked in there and he was honestly about to pack up and leave. He's like, there's no fucking way I'm winning this race, you know. And he knew there was a show closer to home that was 5,000 to win that he could absolutely win. So he was about to pack up and go home, and then he had a couple conversations with people and was like, yeah, you're here. You might as well give it a shot. And then he went out and fucking whooped them.
Yeah.
I think it was 25,000 to win in 88, something like that.
It was 21,000, which
that's it. Yeah,
I did the math.
Back then.
Yeah, it's like 56 grand in today's money, which is, you know, it's good money.
It's about what it is now. Yeah.
So this video, it's just the feature, and it starts off with just one of the most amazing clips of the whole video. You see all the trophy girls are out there and they're wearing like Statue of Liberty bathing suits and outfits, whatever you want to call them. And the announcer starts off just like talking about these women, and the quote was, "A lot of good-looking women here, and they are artsy." And then all of a sudden, the screen kind of gets like flashy, and this like 80s like synthesizer music starts playing, and I just thought that was hilarious. Got a lot of footage of those women the first 2 minutes of this video. From there, it kind of just runs down the qualifiers and shows all the cars being lined up. You see Mike Duvall, a past winner of the race. He winks at the camera, and he had like a cool old cowboy hat on.
That was not a cowboy hat. That was a terrible fucking whatever it was.
It looked like something Waylon Jennings would wear.
Oversized black fedora.
Something like that. You see a young Donnie Moran, and you also see CJ Rayburn getting ready in his car, just chomping on a big ass cigar the whole time, which I can't do that today.
Maybe at Eldora.
Maybe at Eldora. So this race started off with it had Jeff Purvis and Billy Moore on the front row, and I will say they do the whole. They show the whole driver introductions, and
it's very long.
It's very long, but also like the pageantry is just next to nothing. Like it's just the guys like announcing their names and their ages, and then just walking to their cars. You know, Bloomquist, like when he's walking out there, he doesn't even look up. He just waves, staring at the ground the whole time, walking his car. The last couple drivers, they have the trophy girls walk them out to the cars, and at this point I noticed
it's a long walk in heels, man.
Yeah. Well, it seems like the drivers were helping the ladies more.
They were more than happy to help them walk across.
Oh yeah, they were all excited.
Very artsy. Yeah.
I did notice that Jeff Purvis, even in '88, he already was driving for Phoenix, and that was the start of a long relationship with James Finch and that team.
Yep.
And now another thing I wanted to mention about this video is, granted, yes, this is the 80s, but it looks like a video that was filmed in like 1967. Like just the actual, and granted, again, this is tape transfer, I'm sure. I don't know exactly how these videos were distributed way back when.
Mail order.
Mail order. That makes
order
sense.
them. Yeah.
The graphics look like the same graphics that were used in that NASCAR race from Wilkesboro from 71 or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, it's all very low quality VHS.
For sure.
And as I was standing here watching a drone fly over the infield of Eldora on Flow Racing. Be happy you're alive right now and able to experience this, because watching dirt racing back in those days, if you couldn't make it to the track, was fucking tough.
So I mean, the race itself, I mean, it's not the most action-packed race, but I mean, it starts off with a pretty good battle with Jeff Purvis and Billy Moyer, and they kind of, moved away from the field pretty quickly. But Bloomquist, I think, was he either 4th or 6th he started? Maybe
7th, I think.
7th. Yeah, 7th.
I mean, he didn't... That was as low as he was the entire race. I mean, he very slowly made his way up. There was only one caution where the driver named Brian Asbury stops in turn 4, and then all of a sudden, Delmas Conley, which another amazing name. Like, what the hell kind of name is Delmas? Like, I know Delma Cowart. Never heard Delmas before. Just fucking slams into him. Like, these cars don't have spotters or anything. Yeah, just straight up, like, right in his ass. From there, Purvis has the lead pretty much the whole time, but as they get into lap traffic, Bloomer finally starts to catch up to him, and it seemed like it was maybe 20 or 30 laps with just these guys cutting through lap traffic, and Bloomer was just following Purvis the entire time, and it was heading to the line for lap 50 that Bloomquist got the lead, and that was it. He led the entire rest of the race. The only 2 cars in the lead lap were him and Jeff Purvis. So again, I know I kind of know what I'm getting into at this race on Saturday. Like, I know it's not going to be the most exciting race I'm ever going to see, but I'm going more for the the
Well, the heats are always great too, to set the lineup. That's always a great show. Yeah. So.
But yeah, Bloomer had pretty much one of, if not the fastest car of the night, which, again, first time there. Like, nobody had seen him there before. That doesn't happen too often, and I don't know if that speaks to Bloomquist's car or his driving abilities or both. But, I mean...
I think they were married. Those two things were one and the same almost. Yeah. The full package with Bloomquist building his own shit and tinkering and, not cheating necessarily, but definitely bending things to his will. And also being able to just be as aggressive and just run that middle line the way he did.
Yeah. I will say I really love the old late models. Like,
the big wedge,
big wedge, flat, like
square,
almost no fucking roof. Like, just I love those cars.
The right front's not offset into the next county. Yeah.
Like, that's one thing that, like, while I can appreciate the newer cars, like, I wish they were more symmetrical and not. I don't know. I wasn't a fan of the Twisted Sisters in NASCAR, and I don't totally love current late models, but
there's a lot of push to try and square them up a little bit more now to get back to that and make it less aero dependent, because I mean, you talk about aero dependency in cup racing, it's the same in dirt late models right now. It's especially at big fast tracks like Eldora, it's tough to pass because all the weight coming off these cars. So yeah, I'd be a fan of seeing them square up a little bit too. But yeah, there's just the cars look so wild back in the day, even though they're these huge doorstops.
Yeah.
Good shit.
And really, the end of this video, I mean, there's unfortunately no Victory Lane interview. There's just kind of a couple shots of, Scott getting his trophy, and, Earl, longtime owner of Eldora, he's there handing the trophy, and Scott's girlfriend at the time was there, and she was definitely better looking than all the trophy girls. So that was. Yeah, that was pretty much it. I mean, it was the Bloomer show. So, any final thoughts from you guys?
There's some great Earl Baltus content at the beginning in the drivers' meeting. Just him kind of displaying how he was with everybody, getting some big laughs, but also running the show. I really appreciated that. But yeah, like you said, it's kind of a tough video to watch. It's definitely a different era of short track coverage. But this is absolutely the beginning of some very serious history, and I'm glad that there is at least some documentation of Bloomquist arriving in the greater world. And that's what this is.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think I'd seen all these before, but definitely, I'm sure it helped get y'all pumped up for this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so excited to hear all of your stories next week, if you survive.
Oh, it'll be fine. Yeah. Just bring a jacket.
Recap of, yeah.
I gotta. Packing for this is such a pain in the ass because it's supposed to be like in the mid 80s, like high 80s during the day, and then down to like 49 at night. So I'm just like, fuck. Like, I don't even know what
Gonna have to get some of those zip off pants.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get the old zip off khakis.
I've got a I'll bring it with me. I've got a 2001 Bloomquist sweatshirt that is as patriotic as a 2001 Bloomquist sweatshirt can be. So I'll bring that with me. Yeah. So it definitely came out after 9/11. Let's just say that.
Oh no.
There's no anti-Osama stuff on there or anything. Should have
been. That would have been awesome.
It's just very patriotic.
But yeah, if you're going to Eldora this weekend, be sure to wear your fanciest Bloomquist gear.
Yeah. Just watching the heat races earlier today at Eldora, every crowd shot, there was just Bloomquist shirts everywhere. So
yeah, this will be a celebration of Scott through and through this weekend. And I'm very, I hate that it's happening for the reasons that it's happening, but I'm very proud to be a part of it.
Yeah.
All right, so that brings us to next week's video, and I will say, so Mike from First 7-Inch Club, he did a lot of digging the last week and found a bunch of different videos of NASCAR drivers in non-NASCAR situations, and he sent us a video, but we're going to save that one. I picked a fairly easy to get through one this week. It's an episode of ESPN Speed Week from August of 1987, covering Watkins Glen and a bunch of other stuff from that era, and has commercials, and it's a pretty good quality video. So something light, because we'll have a bunch of other shit to talk about next week. So that is a video of the week, and it's already on the playlist, so you can check that out there.
Well, it's playoff time. We didn't talk about this earlier.
Yeah, but I was actually thinking about this. So let's give our predictions for who's going to be in the Final Four.
Yeah.
You fuck the rest of like who gets out in what round. Let's just do that now before the playoffs start. That way we can see how wrong we were.
Exactly.
In 10 weeks.
Let me jot this down.
Who wants to go first?
I mean, I will. I'll go for it.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna pick for the Final Four: Bell, Reddick. Who's gonna be my third? I guess Blaney, because actually,
it's tough.
Yeah, I'll go with Blaney, and I'm gonna say my surprise, being that Talladega is like 2 races ahead. I'm going with Keselowski. I think he's gonna win Talladega.
Oh,
I'm gonna call that now.
All right.
That's gonna be my long shot, but that's gonna be my prediction.
Well, I wrote it down, so
let it rip, Tater Chip.
I'm gonna go Reddick. Also Bell. I think Hamlin makes it, and I would get kicked out of the state of Georgia if I don't put Elliott in there.
No Kyle Larson for either of you. Crazy.
Listen, I like Larson, and I obviously he's having a great season, but it's inconsistent. And
that's
it's
fair.
either
Also
win or lose for him. It's like win or wreck. I mean,
let's get some draw on there, buddy. Not just win and lose, please. My 4, definitely Kyle Larson. I have faith that he'll be able to pull it together. Definitely Reddick. Definitely Christopher Bell. So we all agree there on Reddick and Bell. I'm going to say William Byron. He's been pretty dead over the summer, but there's a lot of tracks that we're going to that he kicked ass at earlier in the year, and I think he'll turn it around. I got to give honorable mention to Denny Hamlin and Ryan Blaney. They both seem to find themselves in those situations, particularly Blaney, not so much Denny, but I wouldn't be surprised to see either one of them. But I got to give the dark horse to Byron here. I think he'll turn it around, and I think we'll start to see some speed out of them, especially when we get closer to like the round of 8. I think he'll really pick it up towards Martinsville and all that, and he's always good at Phoenix. For championship, I think Christopher Bell gets it.
That's tough. I would want to. I kind of want to say Bell also, just because.
Just because of Phoenix, I think he would have won it last year if it wasn't for him getting up in the fence. So I think.
Well, his brake rotor. That was the problem. So. Yeah, I mean, he's a good one. I want to say Reddick because I want him to win. And I do think he has a good chance.
I think we'd all like to see that. I would not be upset by Tyler Reddick getting the championship, but I just think Christopher Bell's so strong at Phoenix that if he can make it there and they can keep the car under him, that's lights out.
Yeah.
What do you think, Trullo?
Fair.
I'm gonna go Hamlin.
Damn! Wow.
For funsies.
The curse breaker.
Hey, look, I want to see him win also, just because we can finally stop talking about it. And I don't hate Denny. Like I have a lot of respect for him and what he brings to the sport.
He grows on me by the day. I hate to say it, but
which actually, you know what?
Podcasts.
One thing that we didn't talk about earlier in the show with Denny is again the charter talks and how he is the most vocal about NASCAR really making it hard for the teams to sign on for this and I think if you're a fan of NASCAR and you're a fan of teams actually, prospering and doing better things for the sport, you should be on Hamlin's side. NASCAR's always been kind of tyrants about how the sport is run, and maybe that worked in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, but I think the way things are now, they shouldn't be that way.
I'm just happy that someone is willing to show the team owner's side in such a candid way.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because no one else is going to do that.
No.
John Wood was on DBC this week, and he wouldn't say a damn word about it. It was pretty funny. Yeah. He's like, nope, not touching that.
Yeah, Penske,
Well,
Hendrick.
He's got too many people above him to really say anything anyways. I mean, he's not even the owner.
He's not,
he runs the team, but with the Penske Alliance and everything, there's so many more people to piss off, whereas Denny's at the top of the chain. He can say what he wants within reason. I mean, that's the other thing is in this the new contract that was recently presented was there's a non-disparagement clause. The teams can't talk shit, and that's like, wow, that's
go
rough.
fuck yourself. So, yeah.
I'll tell you what, you won't be hearing about it on Drop the Jack or NASCAR Daily. That's for sure.
No, absolutely.
But you'll hear about it here on Meet Me at Applebee's, the People's Podcast. So.
All right, so we already covered we're all going to be doing racing stuff this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
So there's not anything to say there, and we already got all the other stuff covered, so I guess...
Brian just passed out at the table.
I want to add...
Took his last breath.
I am going to Atlanta on Sunday like we talked about, but for once I am excited about the pre-race concert. It's Zach Tops playing.
I saw that, finally.
Yeah.
That guy fucking rules.
Tim, but yeah, I'm excited about that one. And I also got news today from my group of buddies that I'm going to Bristol with in a few weeks that the foam party will return.
Yes.
So that's good news. And on Saturday night, there will be a Kid Rock cover band, Kentucky Kid, so that'll be great. And then, of course, Tim Duggar on Saturday.
Oh, who else? You got to throw him back in. If they're going to fire him for Zach Top for a weekend, he's got to get Bristol. But, I'm excited to see Dirty Grass Soul this weekend. They're good friends with a lot of my friends down in Carolina, and they're a good live band, so I'm glad they're at Eldora. There's also some country cover band that's happening on Thursday night, so you do get the garbage, too. They all wear, like, Dukes of Hazzard's wigs, and there's a guy who has pigtails like Willie Nelson for some reason, and none of it's very good. But
there was a lady on the Flow broadcast earlier. She was wearing a shirt. It was, like, a Dukes of Hazzard font, and it said, like, the Dukes of Country.
That's them. That's the ones.
Must be it.
That's them. Yeah, Thursday night. So tomorrow night I'll be witnessing that, or tonight if you're listening to this. So yeah, if you happen to be at Eldora tonight, come on by and watch me watch them. I think Brian's just gone. Yep.
Well, he just bailed on the check and
I'm here. I had to go to my phone. My computer completely shit the bed again. So
there you go.
Where were we with the plugs? What did I miss out?
You just came in so hot. and I can hear myself talk.
You're an echo.
I can see my levels.
Well, the end of the show's officially on acid.
All right, everyone be quiet so Brian can give his plugs.
Hold on. My computer's back working again, so I'll be back on the regular feed in a second here.
All right.
Come on.
That's not getting edited out.
Nah, leave it in. It's fine. People can know how fucked up this show is sometimes.
Scared the fuck out of me.
Where? Okay, there we go. Popping back up. I'm back.
There we go.
Thank
Sound
God.
normal again. Okay, so as
Fucking
always,
Willy Wonka tunnel of hell.
Yeah, a live listen inside of Tyler Reddick's stomach on Sunday. It's happening
quit
again.
again?
He did, yeah.
He's alive.
True Love, give me your plug. You got one?
Yeah, no. Just if you're gonna be in Atlanta though, hit me up. Me and my brother will be there. We'll drink some beers and have a heat stroke together. It'll be great.
Fuck yeah. Rob Motes _unofficial. My band's called These Wild Plains. We just announced a show in October here in Boston, so if you're around for that, I can't remember the date off the top of my head, and I don't think we had enough time for me to look it up, but we'll be at the Lizard Lounge with my good buddy Matt Charette. That's going to be a good show, and we'll talk about it again later on, the closer we get to that. Brian, Speedway Screens, .tsj.etsy or some shit like that.
Yeah, that's right. I know his plug's better than mine.
Yeah,
close enough. SpeedwayTSJ.etsy.com.
That's it, yeah. And Speedway Screens, of course, on Instagram. He always posts good shit. And maybe if you're lucky, he'll send you a Corey LaJoy koozie.
Apparently, I
Hopefully
can't
he
because
doesn't have any left.
it's in the trash now. I'm not buying another one of those. I'll tell you that much.
He is Ohio's largest importer-exporter of Corey LaJoy merchandise. You just got to ask him.
Probably the only one.
Yeah, it might be. Anywhere in the world. So, yeah. But yeah, Brian's always got good stuff, and even if he does send you a terrible koozie, I recommend buying from him. I got all kinds of good shit from Brian. So
It was a fucking gift. Oh, well. Gift went unappreciated. It's fine.
yeah, well, can't win them all.
Well, you know, you knew how I felt about it. The shirt's great though, so thanks for that.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, y'all. Well, the check is here, and we got toilet waters to go drink. So we.
Oh, I gotta flush the tank one more time. Hang on. Sorry.
Oh yeah, here we go.
It's gross we do this in the middle of a fucking restaurant. By the way, I just want to point that out. But hell yeah, Brian. I'll see you on Saturday, bud.
Yes, sir.
Nice.
And be safe out in Atlanta there, True Love, and drink some water and get a big floppy hat and some Crocs, and you'll be
I got my liquid IVs ready to go.
fucking A. Mm-hmm. Well, all right. Brian's gone, so I guess I'll shut it down.
I'm here. I didn't know what to say. I thought we were already done. All right. Well,
That's a good ending. Yeah, we can cut it there, but yeah.
Thanks for joining us at Applebee's. We'll talk to y'all next week.
There we go.